beginning. Okay, great. So this is a quick walkthrough of Microsoft Dynamics 365, and it's going to be a quick walkthrough, roughly within an hour we should be done. And again, it's just more like an introduction, not really going to be an in-depth, but just for you to understand and be able to appreciate what the application can do and what you as maybe the user or the developer of the application, what you can do with it and how you can actually make use of it. So what is Dynamics 365? Now, what you can see on my screen, if you can see my screen, is more of getting started with Dynamics 365 free trial. So the good thing here is you can actually subscribe to 30 days free trial online on cloud. Anyway, if you're talking about Dynamics 365, it's actually on cloud. And just a quick of background. So before Dynamics 365, you've got different versions like Dynamics 2016. Before that, you have Dynamics 2015, if I'm right, or 2013 down to 2011, and the old ones as well. So those ones are on prem the call, in the sense that they will be installed on the client server. So which means if you are meant to actually use that, you need a server to host that. But this day, talking about 365, you do not need to install this on a server. Everything is on the cloud. All you need to do is just subscribe, pay for it. So as a business, you subscribe, you get your tenant, and then you pay for that. So that is pretty much the architecture of the cloud version of Microsoft Dynamics. Microsoft Dynamics 365. So when we say Microsoft Dynamics 365, it's actually, like before now we were talking about CRM. It's pretty much more of CRM, but now it actually has evolved beyond just CRM. CRM is customer relationship management application or system, but it has evolved and it has several other things. If you can see on my screen, you have what is called sales, which is actually more of part of, I usually call it module, part of what has been with CRM, right? And you also have the service. Those are the key modules, permit me to use that word, of CRM, talking about sales, service, and marketing. So just looking at it, what that means is with CRM or Microsoft Dynamics 365, you can perform your sales operation. You can do, right from the time of, making sales. Let me just put it that way. And what does that mean? Right from the time of getting your leads, you have some prospective customers. And so you can actually start that journey with them, get the leads. And when you know that, maybe they have interest or they show interest in your product, you can go ahead to promote them from just leads to customers too. And when I say customer, by the time we quickly go through it, you understand that customer can be as a contact or as an account. That is in the context of CRM Dynamics 365. And from that journey, being a customer, right, you can go ahead and create from that point you actually have an opportunity with them. So you're gonna have opportunity record, and from being having an opportunity record, you can go ahead, if you win that opportunity, you can go ahead to create codes, and then you go ahead with the journey of the sales, as in selling the actual product you have. That being said, talking about product, right? So which means you can also, for sure, you're going to have your product data or information on Dynamics as well. So that is pretty much just a quick explanation of what your sales can do, which of course it works very well with marketing. So marketing is the beginning of the journey of your sales process, where you want to send out maybe email campaign. You may be thinking, there are other applications out there that can actually do the email campaigns. Yes, you can talk about maybe MailChimp and the other ones. But the benefit of using the marketing model here is you have all your data in one place, right in Dynamics CRM. You don't have to use MailChimp, send that, and then you now want to get all the responses, or maybe the response to the email campaigns. You want to now import that to Dynamics. Some may actually do that. They may use another, third-party marketing tools. It's allowed as long as you know how to integrate that to Dynamics 365. But Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing itself has good tools that you can use. Now, talking third-party tools. Nobody is going to stop you from doing that. If you have better tools for marketing, you can do that. But now, how to now integrate it to Dynamics 365 is also possible. That is the good thing about Dynamics 365. You can
Hello.
easily integrate such applications to this. And that is where, if you're going to be a developer of Microsoft Dynamics, that is where you come in. How are you going to do this for a business? Because the Microsoft Dynamics is as easy as you can just configure it. You can create new forms, you can create new tables, as it were, for a business, and you'll be good with that. Those customizations are simple customizations. But when it comes to like integrating Dynamics to, say, Mailchimp or to some other marketing application, for instance, that is where someone that has a very good knowledge, as in a more techie person, will actually come in to do that. But again, you can also be that person if you are ready to get your hands so dirty. So now we've quickly done a quick walkthrough or explanation of sales and marketing. Now, what about the service? Now, the service is more of to me, I would say the core. If you're saying customer relationship management, that is the core, in the sense that now you have been able to sell your products. They are now your customers. Now, what happens? What is the journey after that? It doesn't end that point, right? It doesn't end at the point when you have sold your product. If after you sold your product, you've been using it, and then maybe based on your warranty, of course, and based on the, depending on whatever the product is. If it's a service, for instance, then you want to talk about SLA. But if it's a product, then you want to talk about warranty, right? So if after, within the warranty, now they are coming back to you complaining about a defect in your product, how are you going to log their complaints? This is where the service model comes in, right? So that is where you create, or you can have those cases being created, and against the contact or account information, and you can easily manage the case. And with that, you can, if depending on the number of agents you've got, the agents are those that will actually respond to your customers. So you can actually, in fact, the good thing about the service model is you can also monitor their workload. You can actually get to know whoever is free. You can schedule all those. It's just pretty much the service model that does all that for you. And there are other models you can, well, let me say, I'll keep on saying models you can use on top of this that can actually give you a good service experience. There is more like a particular project that, of course, they use service, but on top of that, they also use field service. That is, oh yeah, great. You can actually see it on the screen. Dynamics 365 field service. So these are, mainly looking at the definition of that. It says deliver exceptional proactive service that resolves customer issues the first time, building customer trust and reducing operational costs. That is just an overview, a quick overview of what this does. But really, this is more like a telecom company where of course, the moment you call them, they know based on your phone number, it automatically searches the database and gets to know whoever the customer is. So you don't have to be looking for, who is this person? And that is what a lot of people are actually doing out there anyway. So that is what the field service can do, and that is more of out of the box, in a way. Out of the box, if I say out of the box, these are solutions that are already built on top of Microsoft Dynamics 365. But that being said, you can also build your own solution. Yeah. So, and as if you want to be more like a different software company, for instance, you can build a solution on Microsoft Dynamics and package it and put it. There is what is called Marketplace for Microsoft Dynamics, where you can actually put your product there, and someone that wants to use it, you can monetize it. Someone can buy that application, be it depending on the subscription model that you want to use, and they can install it on their organization, or let me say their tenant, and they can start to use it. So there are different ways you can actually have solution being installed on Dynamics platform. Okay, now the next thing is going to be, how can you actually kickstart or start something or start a free trial on Microsoft Dynamics? It is pretty much easy. Like I said earlier, you can have 30 days. And the essence of doing this is more of to have a good hands-on this, to be able to play around with how it works. And the good thing is, once you have a free trial, you actually have some data sample that you can play around with as well. So we're going to try the sales. And when we install this, when we try this, you will most likely get access to the service and the marketing. Well, maybe not the marketing, but most likely the service as well. So let's try it now. If you need this, you see the Dynamics .microsoft.com and then ENUS Dynamics 365 field track. I'm going to put this, or well, you're going to have access to this as well if you go through the video. But if you can actually even search for this. Let me go back. You can do just CRM 365 trial, and from there you look down, look for the link that is not advertised. The other ones are more of advertised links. So start or click on the one that is not an advert, and you can look for trial for free. Hopefully, now it's been a long time that I've tried or used this trial version, so hopefully everything is going to go very fine. And again, based on time, the provisioning of these may take a little while. Hopefully we're able to have access to it before the end of this hour. So I'm going to use let me use my email address, and then you start. Okay, now it's enter your email to start free. Now it's not going to allow that. Is so yeah, now I remember, it's not just going to take any email address. That is why it's by signing up Google. You need let me see. Okay, make sure. Okay, someone is about to join. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not even sure who's about to join actually. Okay, so now that is now. I think I can remember. What can I use now? Can I start? No. So you need more than. It may not take just any email. You may need more of a work email address, which I think they are trying to more of make sure that it's not just anybody, right? Not just anybody. Oh, it's still the same. Okay, do I have to? Okay, my bad. Not you have to add, agree to the terms and condition first. Hopefully, okay. There you go. Okay, let's try. Okay, so let's get you started. Great. So we can use your personal email address, any Gmail or so we continue with that. Just continue with that and create an account. Now create an account. It looks like you are new here. We will create a new account with this. Go ahead. And then enter your password you would like to use. Now it's creating an account using my email address here that I'm using. So at this point I can create I specify the password that I want to use. It's gonna ask for your date of birth. Let me just put anything there. As long as you remember that thing that may be used later if you want to recover it. Let me just put 1990. Okay, so code for verification. I should get that shortly. Let me check my email. Enter the code we sent to this. I haven't got that. I haven't gotten that. Okay, I have that. So 6122. So for the guy that just joined, or whoever joined actually just few minutes ago, what we're trying to do right now. So please solve the puzzle. Okay, pick the dog. So what we're trying to do right now is just to create a trial account to be able to log into Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales, which you can do yourself as well. One thing that I did not mention, I hope it's not going to ask for, which I think we've actually passed that stage. It's not asking for a credit card. A long time ago, yeah, okay, we may actually still get there. Now, if he's asking for that, um, it's not going to charge you, so you can just use your credit card. It's just one um 30 days trial, and after that trial period, I can't remember. Maybe you have to make sure you cancel before that time. I can't remember. I think it's better to just cancel. But let's see. Maybe things have changed. Let's say I would like to. Yeah, no, I would like to. I'm not interested in those. Okay, asking for phone number. Yeah, so this is one key thing. You have to specify a phone number, which of course you can make use of any phone number. Company name can be anything, so you don't have to have a concrete or a real company. So like what I was trying to explain again to the person that just joined, what we're trying to do here is to create Microsoft Dynamics 365 subscription so that we can be able to log in and see how it looks, and that is pretty much the beginning of your learning, so that you can be able to play around and see how it all works together, or how you can navigate. Okay, so convert list firster. Okay, so now it's getting everything ready. So yes, this may take a little more time. So while we wait for this to set up itself, hopefully we're not going to be hacked to enter any credit card information. Is there any question? Do we have any question? Any question? Okay, getting this. Now, getting this will most likely be
Well, one
that
question.
it's trying to use a different login authentication. So let me try, and I'm going to use a different. I'm going to go in incognito. And then let's see if this is gonna work. In fact, let's just do CRM Dynamics login. CRM Dynamics 365 login. Try signing. Okay, this is a different. This is engagement. This is actually what we should have started with. Customer engagement plan trial. So this is where I was referring to, but let's just keep that aside. Let's see if I can get Dynamics. Dynamics 365 login. No, not this definitely. Okay, let me go back here. Login. Okay, so let's use what I used to have. Hopefully everything works fine. Yep. Office, okay, that is looking promising. So what you have access to is Office, which is the beginning of that, and then you have, of course, we're not buying that yet. So you have access. So what it does, you definitely need access. It starts from Office uh, account before you can now go ahead to the Dynamics. That is interesting. So let's see what we have here. Okay. See all. Okay. So do we have to buy? Not buying. Okay. Go premium with Microsoft Dynamics 365. So okay, now my bad. I made a mistake. Oh my goodness. Now there is some Microsoft 365 is different from Dynamics. So I think the link I used is actually a wrong link. That was for Microsoft 365. So I think I've misled you a little bit talking about the link. So the link to use should be the other one. Yeah, this is Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement Plan Trial. Even though I remember I clicked on sales, so something maybe it's possible the login. Yeah, it's the login we used to log in. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. So what I used to log in is actually still not Dynamics. Let me see if I can find that Dynamics. The thing is, the way it works is you definitely need which we couldn't get there because of the failure we had. We need let me see if I can go back. You need a particular URL to be able to, let me see if I copy here, bring it here. Yep. Oh, still okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens. The Pioneer may sound, like it's boring and difficult, but it's not actually. It's yeah, Microsoft Dynamics 365. Yes, I can see. Yes, it's loading. Perfect. So we're still on the right track. Sorry. So now to explain why I got this, it was because I've got different login information on the browser. So the ideal thing I should have done right from the beginning was to use incognito in the sense that which definitely has no collection of information of my login to Microsoft before. So for your case, you don't have any problem like that because you haven't created any account before. Now that you can see what you see on the screen, this is how Microsoft Dynamics looks. Again, what I said the other time, right from the beginning, that is still the correct way to actually set up your account. We started with sales, and this is what you see. You're going to see, welcome to Dynamics 365 sales. You have 30 days left on your field trial. And now there is something I would like to quickly show you. The first thing you see here is more of a dashboard. You can actually see that sales dashboard. And from there you can switch, change area, sales. You can go to app settings. More, everything is, everything with Dynamics now is in the context of app, model driven app or model driven app. So that is called app settings. So which means you can set up your sales app. Like the other time I mentioned, I said permit me to use model. It's actually called app now, so not model. So you can change or configure your sales app going to the app settings, and you also have the sales insight settings. This is more of your information, the report, and your more of chart that you may want to set up when it comes to the sales app. Okay. Okay, someone is still stuck in the different. Oh yeah, thank you very much. So definitely I'm already on a different page. Let me stop. Let me reshare. I'm sharing a different. Oh no. Okay. Let's see. Stop presenting. Then I'm gonna share this again. Window. Yep. There you go. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now I'm resharing. Sorry about that. So that was I was sharing a particular window and was stuck on that. I believe you can see the window I am working with now. So this is the sales app, and the first thing you'll see will be the dashboard. My work area, the activities to the left, navigation section. You see my work activities, pipelines, which of course is talking about um, the leads, the opportunities. I mentioned the leads opportunities the other time. Forecasts, these are things that are already there out of the box. Now, the good thing about Dynamics is even, based on the business, if whatever is out of the box, if everything doesn't meet your need, you can go ahead and customize it. Customize in the sense that you can create new table, create new forms for whatever you're trying to store, and you can also automate what you're trying to do. All those stuff you're not going to cover them in this session. This is, this session, session's focus is just a quick walkthrough of how to set up a field trial and how to play around with it. Again, with a field trial, you can see we've got sample data which you can play around with. You can get to understand, okay, what is happening here. I see the dashboard. What can I do with the dashboard? You can see everything in the dashboard. Work items from Kenya, Brandy, store manager. This is an email, that came in through. So you can check that. You can see the open list, a chat about that, the recent calls. And scrolling down, you see the pipeline by stage. So this more of is another chart as well. It shows you more of the leads, their stages. This one is in qualify stage, this is in develop, and then you have proposed. These are actually more of opportunities, actually opportunity in the qualify stage. And you can even see opportunities at risk. So you have different information, but this is a dashboard, which of course you can customize the dashboard. You can, create a new dashboard as it were. So this is more of the outbox dashboard that you have access to. So the other time I was trying to explain that you can actually change or configure the sales app by going to the app settings. You can go to the sales insight settings as well, and then the personal settings. Personal settings are settings that are going to be personal to you. You are not, if you create a trial version, you're going to assume the admin of that tenant, so you are going to be able to change whatever you want to change. But talking about normal users, right? So they can change, go to the personal settings and change whatever they want to change. Maybe the way it looks, maybe the time. There are other couple of things you can change there, but we're not going to go in there. Whereas you can also have the system-wide settings that is done by sysadmin, which is going to be across board. So the personal settings are settings that are more for you or as a user, while the system settings are more of across board. Now, what you see here is, there is something that I want to show you. Hopefully, we have access to the other app. When I click on the sales, great, we do. When I click on the sales, I don't know if you notice that. I'm going to close this. Clicking here, you can change your app. Right now we're on sales app. If you click on that, you see the other apps. I have access to Dynamics 365 Custom. Now, this custom is more of it's called custom because it started from the old version, the on-prem version, or in fact the online as well, of CRM as it were. So if I go to CRM Custom, Dynamics 365 Custom, which is the app that what you see there, you will also see the sales, you see the service, the marketing, and the training. This is how Microsoft Dynamics CRMs all started. It started based on this kind of layout where you can change, the areas. Now, I used to call this area, for me, just for the purpose of explanation, I used to call it module. Talking about sales module, service module, marketing module. Now, you may get so lost and confused when you see all these things. But to be honest with you, the sales that we're looking at right now, we're on sales, is pretty much the same as the sales app that we came out from. The only thing is, with that sales app that we were on before, it's had a more features that are more for sales experience. Unlike here, you may not see a lot of talking about sales insight, for instance. You may not see that here, right? You may not see that here, and in fact, configuring that as well, you may not be able to do that here. That is why you have a separate app that targets more of the sales experience, and you can easily configure that. But under the hood, it's pretty much just in the app is just a navigation. It's just a way of giving you easy access to the tables or the forms that you need to be able to do whatever you want to do. So the Dynamics 365 Custom that you're looking at, which is an app, a model-driven app, has access to sales, the service, the marketing, the training. So even if you're going to just spend your time on this, that is all you need, really. You don't need to say, oh, okay, now I've got loads of apps to learn, customer service, or you don't need to disturb yourself with that. So all you need is going to be the Dynamics 365 Custom, and starting from here, you are good. So by default, you're going to be on in the sales module. Permit me to use that word, sales module. And with that, to the left now, you can see the home, the recent. Now every record you see is going to be going to as a recent records you've opened, so that at least for the purpose of if you want to go back to that records, and this is only for you. So if we let's say on this tenant, for instance, we have 100 users. If I happen to be one of the users, my recent is going to be my recent. It's not going to be your recent, right? It's not going to be what you have opened. Now going to my work, you've got the dashboard, which is of course what you see here. You can see my open opportunities, my open leads, and whatever you've got in there. The activities, these are activities are more of things that you want to do, like email, like task, meeting. Those are things that you can maybe phone calls. Those are activities. You can create a task, you can create a phone call. Now when I say creating a phone call, with out of the box, creating a phone call doesn't mean you are actually calling the person, but it's just more like a record that yes, you called someone. So out of the box, if I'm creating a phone call, that means I want to have an evidence. If I can use the word evidence, or more like a note, that yes, I actually called a client, or I called a customer, or I called a prospect, as it were, right? But you can actually go beyond that by even integrating some telephoning system, whereby automatically you can initiate that call, or the moment you initiate the call, it automatically create a phone call record. So those are the possibilities that you have with Dynamics, right? You can also create a letter record, a fax, all these things. You can have integrations to them if you want to. You can extend them if you really want to. Now the campaign response, these are related to marketing. Like you create a campaign, you send email campaigns, and the responses you get, maybe someone opens your email, those are that is a response. Someone clicks on a particular link on the email, or an image on the email. Those are called campaign response, and with that you can use that to know. Those are actually good in marketing, in the marketing space. They use that to know the interest of a prospective customer. If someone opens an email, that is a possible, the way they do the metrics, someone that opens the email, they may give that person 1 point. And the more you go further, you stay on that email, you are clicking on the images or some links. That means you actually have more interest. So with that, they can get to know who to call, right? Who to follow, right? So those are, quick things you can see with the activities. Now going down, you see the customers in Dynamics concept, right? Customers can either be account or contact. So if you are going through some, records that has to do with customer, do not be confused to say, oh, what does it really mean? You can see within that field, you can see an information about an account or your contact. It's still related to customer. Then you can go on to the leads I've mentioned before. Leads are more of prospective customers, right? They are not your customers, yes, but they are more of, those that you want to reach out to. Maybe you are getting those leads email information from somewhere else, but you are creating a campaign. You send an email campaign to them, to those leads. The moment they start to show interest, that is when you want to know if you want to follow them. They are still leads, not until you now convert them to customers, and then you want to open an opportunity to sell your product to them. And the opportunity is what I just mentioned. So those are the potential sale of your product. Competitors, now depending on your organization, is if you really want to, the advantage of doing this is just you want to have information of your competitors, so that by the time you lose an opportunity, for instance, you want to know why you are losing that. You want to make some, maybe get feedbacks or information about why you are losing the opportunity, why that customer is not going for your product. Maybe it's going for the product of your competitor, right? And then you want to know what you want to do next to actually win a similar opportunity. So those are information you can actually, by the time you start to play with opportunity, for instance, at the point when you're about to close an opportunity and you're marking it as being lost, you can have information about the competitor, maybe the competitor that is maybe getting that opportunity. If you have that kind of information, you can actually put that on the system. Now, collateral, you've got the code. Code is still related to sales. If you're going to sell something to a prospective customer that is showing interest, within that journey, you're going to have to create codes. Which is going to be something that is going to be binding. The prospective customer is going to look at it. Okay, fine, they're good with it. Before you now go ahead, so, you finish the sale of the product, you invoice that. Now, orders, we all know what orders are, which is also, talking about the invoices. I've mentioned that as well. And then the product, which is, of course, what you are about to sell. And then you've got the sales literature. So sales literature is pretty much like a wiki for sales. For those that are really into sales, they will need this for their sales agents, because if you're going to sell different products, you need to know what the product are all about. You need to know maybe some incentives that you can give them. So all these stuffs, you can put it in the sales literature, which is, like I said, wiki for the sales agent. Then the marketing. Now, remember, we're still on the sales model, but in here, in this left navigation, is giving you access to some records that are coming from other model, as it were. So one of it is under the marketing section, you see the marketing list. So the advantage of that is, instead of you having to to switch from this area to now say I want to go to marketing to have access to marketing list, they are giving you access to that here, because most likely you want to have access to marketing list. Marketing list is just a list of leads, or prospects that you want to send, you want to create a campaign for, you want to send an email to. Now, when I say email, it doesn't, for marketing purpose, marketing is not only done by sending email. You can even make phone call, direct phone call, depending on the way they want to engage your leads. So you can create a new marketing list, and you can import your email addresses that you want to start your campaign with, and you also can have quick campaigns from within the sales model. You can have a quick campaign. A quick campaign is you want to quickly send an email campaigns to a list of people, which is more like to a particular marketing list. You can quickly do that from within the sales area or model. And goals are more of like you say, there are goals or metrics that has to be met. These are ways that you can actually measure if you are performing well, if you are actually up to target or not. You can set all that up, including the goal metrics and the roll-up queries. Again, these are things you can play with, or you can try to learn if by the time if you have the time to do that. Then the tools, that is talking about the reports. So you have access to out of the box report. You can create your report on the fly. And if you cannot use the wizard, maybe the wizard is not good enough to create some complex queries for your report, you can also use SSRS. That is another level of customization you can actually do. Now, business processes. So these are processes. The good thing with Dynamics 365 is there are automations. It has automating engine, which you can do to automate some processes. So this is called business processes. Now, these are just business processes. There are other types of processes. You've got the workflows. You can also leverage the use of Power Automate. But if time permits, depending on how this journey goes, definitely not today. If there's going to be other sessions, we can talk about all those in-depth stuffs. But for business processes, you can when it comes to converting leads to opportunity. So this is the business process that actually is responsible for that. So you can see lead to opportunity, active lead to opportunity sales. So this is actually you can see the lead that was converted from and the active stage that lead is, and the status is active and it was created on this day. The process was this. The process that actually, which is of course the same process we are talking about. This process. So this gives you more of what do you call it? And should I say inventory or more like an history of what has happened, the journey of some of your leads. You also have the opportunity sales process. This you can also check and you see all the opportunity to sales processes for some of these records. Let's see, we'll open one of them. So opening that up, I'm opening up an opportunity, like the journey of that opportunity, how it has gone through, within that pipeline. So now the business process flow, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the business process flow. What you have on top here is a flow that guides the user as per where you are in the stage of that record. If you have this opportunity, looking at this opportunity, for instance, how do you determine the stage that this opportunity is? The way you determine that is, what is already on qualified stage, and that has been there for 7 days. 7 days, that's what it means. So which means it's been qualified. Yeah, and the next thing is to develop, to propose, and then you close this deal. Now, this is out of the box. Depending on a particular business, you can change the flow of this process. You can actually have, or even take out some and make it your own. But out of the box, this is what you've got, which means you follow this process. I can say, fine, I'm in the develop stage. So in develop stage, what do I need? I need to do all this. I need to get the customer need. I need to fill all this information before I can mark it as complete and then move on to the propose, do all this as well. With this, it helps the customer to be able to know what to fill in that record at any point in time. And that is a good thing with Dynamics, that you have access to out of the box. Now for the next 10 minutes, I'm quickly going to rush through the other modules or other aspect of this app, which is the areas, the service. I've mentioned what the sales is all about is more of the sales from the beginning to the end. Now, talking about the service itself, this is where you've sold your product, but the warranty aspect of it, getting complaint from the user, like maybe the product you sold is having a defect. This is where you can log those complaints. They call your customer care number. You answer the call as an agent, right? The agent is going to be using this module more, right? And so this is where you can create the cases that the issues that they are complaining of. Now notice the recent, because of all what I've opened, you can see the recent shows up here, so which means I can also remember what I've opened. Now just a bit of trying to explain one or two things here. Now the fact that you have access to sales doesn't mean you can have that you automatically have access to service. Everything is controlled by security roles. So for an agent, for instance, that is mainly going to be using service, that agent will be configured not to have access to the sales. That will be for the sales department. So the reason why we have access to everything is because I assume the role of a sysadmin. So just to quickly clarify that. Now again, it's still in the same, the look and feel is still in the same. It conforms to what we've seen before when we're looking at the sales model. We have this the pin. You can pin records that you are more interested in. You can actually pin it so that you can easily have it's the same as bookmap, right? So you have access automatically to your dashboard, and then to the activities. Again, customers, account, contact, the same flow. Then social profiles. Excuse me. The social profile is something that is kind of relatively new. I've not actually taken time to know what it's really for, but I can assume it's pretty much Twitter, all those social stuffs. And the advantage of that will be, you can see social channels, so which is most likely going to be, the channel. It can be Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, TikTok. And this is more of get you to link, which means you can also even take your sales to that level of doing at the social platform, which is really cool. Now the service section is the cases. That is the core of the service. If someone is going to complain about a product, you're going to have to create a case for that person. We're not going to start to do that, but again, in other sessions which you can also play around with that, you can see how it works together, how you create a case, and the journey of the case. You can have a queue. This is a very good feature in the sense that a queue will be more of what will be used when it comes to like having a lot of agents. For a small company that maybe you have just one customer agent or service agent, you may not need a queue. Yeah, but when it comes to like having more agents, the advantage of queue is like you have all your cases in the queue, and an agent can pick a case from the queue, and once you pick a case, automatically you show that you are working on it. With that, you can be able to manage whoever is working on a case at any point in time. Then the knowledge article is very close to the sales literature we talked about when we are on sales model, but for this is more of, it's the same wiki. It's like a wiki as well. Knowledge article about case in the context of service. So how maybe a particular agent was able to resolve an issue, right? You can have that document down in the knowledge article, so that another agent can look at it and can use that to know how that particular issue was resolved. So those are more of sharing knowledge, wiki based kind of. And the next one is the product. Again, we have access to product from here. So product is more of tied to sales, but we also have access to it because, of course, if someone is complaining about a product, you need to have access to the product. You need to know what the product is all about, and that is why you have access to product from here. And then the services. What sort of services do you have access to? Again, all this we can talk about all these ones later on. We've talked about the goals from the other section, goal metrics, the roll-ups, and the tools again, which is the report. And then we're talking about business processes. You've got the phone to case process. This is a process that will convert a phone call to a case automatically, and then you've got other ones as well as prior processes. Now let's move on to the last module, which we are going to use now to wrap that up, which is the marketing. The marketing, again, looking at it, actually, the beauty of Dynamics is everything looks pretty much the same. It's still more of home, recent, pinned, dashboard, activities, accounts, contact. Then again, it's showing a little bit of, it's showing now talking about the marketing itself, the leads, which we've talked about. The leads actually is also, still related to sales. And then the marketing list, which we saw that from sales. The campaigns, the quick campaigns. This is where you actually create the actual campaigns, and you can also create quick campaigns as well. Then we'll talk about the product. We've seen again with that before, sales literatures, then the report, and that is it. You see, some of them are actually repeated across all the module, if you want to put it that way. But there are some records that are more for, given an example, marketing list and campaigns, quick campaigns are strictly for marketing. But that doesn't mean that you can't have access to that from other modules as well. So that is pretty much a quick walkthrough of, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Remember, the app we're looking at is the Dynamics 365 Custom. You can actually, if I go to the Sales Hub, or the sales that we were looking at the other time, it will give you more feature of sales itself. It's good. So merely looking at what we saw the other time, you think there is nothing much, but when you go deeper into some sales, it will have more features, like maybe the social streams for getting feeds from this from social media or something like that. You can, I forgotten the name of the app for that, but you can have all those features. Now that brings us to the end of this session. If you've got any question, you can type that in the chat, and if there is none, you can say that you have your the remaining 4 minutes back to yourself. Okay, any question? Any question?